What's up, guys? Welcome back to WCS America. I'm Axeltoss, joined by Axslav, watching WCS America Challenger League, potentially the last game of the evening. So we have Sen versus Oz. Oz currently up 1-0. Can Sen win 2 in a row here, Nick?
You know, Oz showcased just absolutely spectacular micro there. And you know, the thing is you see people showcase great blink micro, great force fields against roaches, but having the perfection of force fields that he had versus speed leans.
Yeah, on creep.
Oh yeah, it was speed leans on creep, and it was like 3 engagements in a row.
Yeah.
He had perfect force fields, and that was insanely impressive. And he was using some blink micro in there too. One of the most impressive displays of skill there. And it's crazy. You see him pull something like that, but then, you know, over the last year or so, or maybe half a year, he hasn't shown, you know, the best results. So,
yeah.
But he clearly has it in him. It's just, you know, on the given days, he hasn't been able to do it right. His PvP has been a little bit lackluster. We saw against Sage, he got taken out.
Yeah.
But that PvZ, that first map was just so impressive. Sen has got a real uphill battle to take on a guy with the PvZ caliber that Oz has.
Well, let's see what happens, guys. This is game 2 of this best of 3 on Belshir Vestige. The bottom right-hand location. Represent your blue Protoss player. Representing Team Evil Geniuses. He's 1 win away from getting to Premier League Season 2 WCS America. He is Oz. His opponent in the top left is your Red Zerg player. Must win 2 in a row here. And will be in the Challenger League of Season 2 WCS America. Remember, he went all the way to the round of 16 in the Premier League of Season 1. And I think so far he would be the only who went that far to actually drop to the Challenger League. So needs to win 2 in a row here. Representing Gamma Bears, he is Sen.
I would not be surprised to see him go for that very heavy Zergling style to Ultras we saw him use here against Sage. And you know, he played. It's not like it didn't work against Sage. He got a sick mid game. You know, he was in good shape. He just kind of slipped up with his positioning and got all the queens caught off guard. So we may see him try a similar strategy against Oz. But Oz, if he's aggressive, it's going to be difficult to hold off his aggression because, man, does he micro like a beast.
Yeah, once he gets enough sentries out, once he gets that energy going, that economy going, gets all these units on the field, he can control those units very, very well. Again, being annoying with this pylon, with this early probe.
He was thinking about potentially cannon rushing too, I think, if he got the forge very early.
Yeah.
So that left it open. If Sen went hatchery first, I think he would have cannon rushed. Oh, he's going to get the drone. Oh, no, the drone runs away. Pylon goes down because, of course, the probe was damaged, so he couldn't block the other drone for too long.
Gosh, how annoying.
Yeah. This is just absolutely brutal probe press here.
Oz doing a great job there. And I think, I was looking at my notes, so far every single player who made it to the WCS America round of 16, Season 1, has qualified for Season 2 Premier League. And
Okay.
Sen is on the verge of being the first to advance all the way to the round of 16 of Season 1 Premier to not make it into Premier Season 2. I don't know, it's a little bit interesting, I think.
It is, yeah.
And I think my notes were correct. So.
And just now, one hatchery going down. A second, that pylon, yep, came to cancel pylon third. So, Sen going for the 3-hatch opening, but these hatches are so delayed. Look, just the third going down right now. I mean, that's a similar timing for a third hatchery, but the natural was delayed by over a minute by that harass by Oz. So some great usage of the pylons there. Of course, we can see it in Oz's build as well. I mean, it's approaching the 5-minute mark, and the Psycore was just now started. So it's not like this is free for Protoss. It does slow down their build. But it's a really cool opening. If you're not doing a build that's super dependent on your time and your Psycore, so you're not going to do a Warp Gate rush.
Right.
And you're not going to try to rush out a super fast Stargate and try to catch them off guard with Stargate units, then this is a great opening. And Oz loves a fast third Nexus. For fast third Nexus, does it really matter how fast a Stargate is, or the Psycore? Not quite as much. So,
yeah. You expect him to go for a fast third again?
Yes, that's his style against Zerg. I mean, it's obviously he's capable of mixing it up, but it worked out so well last game, and he really loves the fast third base. I would not be surprised that he'll see him do that again.
Ooh.
Look at this probe. Is it going to thread the needle? Look at all the Zerg units on the map. Is it going to... Oh, no, it's going to go in range of the Watchtower, so it didn't quite thread the needle. In fact, it's actually just going to walk towards Watchtower and
take a couple hits.
Yeah. And now it's found out. So this is like, you know, it's like those games where you're like Deus Ex, where you're like on stealth mode, right? But then once someone sees you, then you go
it's all alerted, yeah. And then, the big sirens go off. You have to run as fast as you can,
Yeah,
and you restart from where you saved it. Now, I saw you were actually playing that game. You're like saving it every 5 seconds. See, I don't play games like that, man.
I get paranoid playing those games.
I have I don't know. I have mixed feelings about including autosaves in games like that. Where literally you can save at any second.
You know,
so, I don't know.
Sometimes I feel bad doing that, but like I just can't. Like my mind can't play those games without doing it. Like I just can't handle it. My nerves get too shot. Like I would be that probe, right? That probe didn't save the game, and he went to the natural, and he got killed by Queen. So this is where ideally the probe could reload and go a different route. Right?
Yeah.
But
well, thankfully, I think Blizzard resume for replay might be the thing for you.
Every time I lose a probe, they'll be like, hold on, can you resume from replay like 10 seconds earlier, guys? Come on.
You can apply to be Nick's practice partner.
Spend half the time reloading.
Because he's lost all of his other ones. 2 Overlord's going to die here. Scout and Twilight Council, though. And the 3 gateways in the back.
And this is a mixing up of the builds from Oz. He's not going for that fast third. He's actually... but again, it's not a build where having a side core is as important because it's about getting money to get up a lot of stalkers. Going for this type of stalker pressure. Blink stalker pressure. And there's 2 ways to play this. There's an old build that people used to do 4-gate stalker pressure. And the idea was you get the Zerg to think you're doing like the 7-gate blink stalker all in. And then you get a lot of roaches, but then really behind it you take a third and you warp in a ton of sentries. Then there's going to be a situation where they have to deny a third, but you've got a lot of sentries and blink stalkers.
Yeah. And
it could be tricky. Or you can actually just play it super aggressive as a 2-base time. And given the fact that he's not building probes, he stopped at 49, and he's adding 2 more gateways. I think we're going to see the 2-base, very aggressive version.
Yeah, and also having adding on a robo. Now this could be probably for an observer. Warp Prism has been done before as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. 2 additional gateways being added. So if there's any doubt before, it's now absolutely clear. Oz is going for a 2-base Blink Stalker type all-in play.
Yeah. He's going to try to... The idea is he's going to hit right when +2 finishes, +2 weapons.
Yes.
He was trying to set up proxy pylons, which would have helped a lot, but Sen caught both of them, so he's going to have to send another probe out and build some more pylons to reinforce this attack. And he's chrono boosting the +2 weapons. Of course, he wants to get ready. He wants to get set up and ready to engage before then. You don't want to wait till weapons finishes, then move out. You want to get set up so right when the main battle happens, that's right when your +2 weapons finishes. Of course, you got to be careful because when you move out with just sentries, if you don't know where your opponent's army is, you want to be caught off guard. So that's why Mothership Core goes, clears the way. Yeah. Says, okay, there's no mass speedings that'll catch your army before it's fully developed. You can go ahead and move out. Start setting the proxy pylons, get ready to attack, and then engage once you have about 12 to 14 stalkers, and once another warp in before he engages. And of course, the +2 weapons of Blink, both of which are done now.
This is a great map for something like this too. I mean, force fields can be so instrumental. So many little pathways. Again, we saw these pathways being used in the past to really lay down those force fields, isolate your opponent's army. And he's coming up here uncontested. He hasn't used a single force field yet. Going to back up into the Trojan, trapping a lot of Lings here. And those are some great force fields once again from Oz. Ling's going to try to get away. More force fields going on, trapping more Roaches. Roach Speed trying to finish up a time warp as well. Oz playing this really well so far.
And Oz's force fields are just something out of this world here. So efficient with them too, using very few there. He was thinking about doing a line there, just put down one and realized that sends back up. Another set of great force fields trapping a lot of these Roaches. He is out of force fields now, but so many stalkers are coming in. Now he can exercise that blink control.
Yes, of course, as time goes... Oh, there's some Lings trying to spew in here as well. Again, Oz being very tentative.
This is a tough angle to push in from because Sen has such a good angle.
Stalker being very brave.
Yeah, not blinking back fast enough. He's trying to bait Sen into fighting where he can back down the ramp.
Now we're going to see the Blink Stalker micro. Mothership overhead doing a little bit of damage again, blinking those Stalkers back. But Sen has so many units here, and this is actually not a terrible situation here for Sen at all. He's up 148 to 94 in supply, adding on more and more units. Road speed is kicked in, +1 carapace is on the way, but these are +2 Blink Stalkers. And those, if microed correctly, can be super crazy good. Sen trying to get up close, trying to get that damage done, but Oz keeping so many of these units alive.
Oz's Blink micro is crazy. The food gap is getting smaller and smaller. Roaches now have speed, but there's not enough Roaches to kill the Stalkers quickly. The Blink recharges too fast, and the micro is just insane, and Oz is showcasing some spectacular blink control here.
Sen pulling some drones to help deal with this, but again, Oz just blinking back those weakened Stalkers, losing one here and there. But again, These are trades that Oz is going to be happy with. Look at the supply. 109 to 96, getting closer and closer and closer. And Oz is on the verge of taking a supply lead, taking out so many roaches, and now the supply advantage, well, Sen is still scrambling, trying to add on more and more units, but losing so many. Oz is just control is ridiculous.
It is. I mean, the supplies look even, but 30-cent supplies filling those eggs. He's fighting with units being incremented out, and it's just too much.
Wow, Oz takes the 2-0. I thought Sen looked like pretty well set up. What was the main thing you think Sen could have done better?
Well, you know, his macro was fantastic. When that attack hit, he was like 150, 160 supply there.
He had 60 drones.
The roach speed was a little bit late. It was only halfway done, and the speed makes a huge difference. So if he could have, I should have paid attention to the exact build order, but if you can identify Protoss as attacking you early, you want to tech a lair before you get Roach One, before you get Zerging speed. And his lair was a little bit late there. But still, you can still often hold that. But his second problem was, the first 2 engagements, he was a little bit too close to the ramp, and so he was able to section off. He lost like 5, 6.
Yeah,
he lost all the Zergings, and like 5, 6, 7 Roaches died. And then later he got that great concave. So ideally, the Zerg is actually further back than where Sen's fighting here. Of course, in this case, there's no force field, so it doesn't matter. But in the first couple engagements, you would almost let the Protoss get to the top of the ramp and then really hit them when they hit the top of the ramp.
Because as time goes on, it's better and better.
It is. You know, I mean, Sen played that well, but the micro from Oz was just insanely fantastic. And it's almost a situation where if you're facing a player who can micro that good, in a straight-up fight, it's so difficult. You almost maybe have to rely on sending the flanking force. And then the flanking force, if they have to blink on 2 fronts, it's very difficult. And also, if you snipe the pylon with the flanking force, the attack's over. Because if they can't warp in stalkers, they have to back up.
And then, like, sending a lot of lings in that engagement. Like, potentially, if you try to get a counterattack going while the push is moving out, just trying to slow it down as much as possible. Just try to bait some force fields out from your opponent at the very least, or, you know, try to, again, the later hits, the better for the Zerg player. So
it's so tough, though, for Oz, man. That guy, his micro.
Super good. So, that being said, Sage and Oz will be advancing. I think we have a card to display what has happened today. Sage, the 2-0 over Sen, and then, of course, Oz with the 1 over Phoenix. Phoenix did decide to forego his participation after his internet issues occurred. So he did lose, you know, he did end up falling to Oz and obviously falling to Sen because of a walkover situation. But then Oz, after losing to Sage in the winners match 0-2, was able to 2-0 Sen. So lots of 2-0s across the board. And Oz and Sage will be your 2 players in WCS Premier League Season 2. And Sen, unfortunately, will be in the Challenger League.
He's going to be scaring a Challenger League, and maybe he'll make it through to get in the Premier League for Season 3. But for now, it's going to have another round of Challenger League. Of course, coming up tomorrow, it's going to be Group F. We're going to see Top versus Minigun and State versus Xenocider.
That's a really exciting group. I know a lot of fans of Minigun and State out there. For Xenocider, actually, that's a group with a lot of up-and-comers, honestly.
It is. And Top, a Chinese player, and Chinese players are just now starting to break into the international scene with WCS. They had the opportunity. And Top showed some great play so far. Exceptional micro. And it's going to be interesting to see how he fares against, it's basically like an up-and-coming Chinese player versus the American talent crew. State, Minigun, Xenocider, it's like the American talent crew. None of them have those big achievements yet, but they're all hungry for them.
Yeah, 2 of those players will be advancing to the Premier League again. That's coming up tomorrow. Every single day this week, we have awesome StarCraft 2 coming your way from WCS America, 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you stay tuned. Of course, coming up next on this stream, we have Rules of Engagement with Mr. Axslav.
That's right. Today I'm going to be analyzing some of the games from last week's WCS America Challenger Group C. That was a group with XY, Huck, and Kapach. Huck just tore through that group, and you know, Huck has some really cool builds, some convincing play. We'll take a look at a couple of his games. Also, one of Kapach's games against XY.
Nice, nice, nice. Of course, Rules of Engagement, awesome analysis of StarCraft 2. You're not going to get any better analysis anywhere, Nick. You're really good at StarCraft. You know what you're talking about. Take it from me. But guys, that does it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, Rules of Engagement coming up and more WCS America coming up tomorrow. Again, congrats to both Oz and Sage for making into WCS America Premier League Season 2. See you in Rules of Engagement. Stay tuned.